The Children's Liturgy for the 29th week of Ordinary Time, Year B, focuses on servant leadership. And the core concept is that anyone who wants to become great must be your servant. And Jesus went on to say, anyone who wants to be first among you must be slave to all. For the Son of Man himself came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. This is building up to his revelation that he is going to be put to death. It comes up immediately after this reading, so probably following Sunday. And this is how it goes. There are some words to know. Just 2 words today. Zebedee, who was a fisherman and the father of the apostles James and John. And Gentiles, you need to understand that these were people that were not Jewish people. They were considered and described by the Jews as Gentiles. So the presentation starts like this. There are some very special words that Jesus told his followers when 2 of his disciples asked for special places in his kingdom. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, approached him. Master, they said to him, we want to ask you a favor. He said to them, what is it you want me to do for you? And they said to him, allow us to sit one at your right hand and the other at your left in your glory. Then Jesus said to them, you don't know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I shall drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I shall be baptized? And they replied, we can. And Jesus said to them, the cup that I shall drink you shall drink, and with the baptism with which I shall be baptized, you shall be baptized. But as for the seats at my right hand or my left, these are not mine to grant. They belong to those to whom they have been allotted. Now, when the other 10 heard this, they began to feel indignant with James and John. And Jesus called them to him and said to them, you know that among the Gentiles, those who call their rulers Lord it over them, and their great men make their authority felt. Among you this is not to happen. No, Anyone who wants to become great among you must be your servant, and anyone who wants to be first among you must be your slave. For the Son of Man himself came not to be served, but to serve, and to give life, his life, as a ransom for many. There's so much to think about in that passage. And here are some of the things we can wonder about together. I wonder what James and John were imagining the kingdom of Jesus to be like. I wonder why the other apostles might have been indignant. I wonder what Jesus meant when he said, "Can you drink the cup I shall drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I shall be baptized?" What Jesus meant when he said, "Anyone who wants to be first among you must be slave to all." So these are some of the I wonder questions you can put to the children. You don't need to use them all, of course. But it's very good to get them to imagine what the apostles were thinking, what kind of a kingdom they were thinking about, that they hadn't quite got the point yet, what that cup would be that had to be drunk, and what kind of baptism was Jesus talking about, the baptism of his suffering and his death, and about being first and last, and understanding the idea of what a slave is. It's kind of like a servant, basically. The slave and servant is a bit interchangeable, but slaves didn't have freedom back in the day of Jesus. Then you move on to pondering through choices, and they can be simple, or it's simply a take-home activity for the children. If it's Sunday children's liturgy, there's not a great deal of time, but you can give them something to take away. Try and leave the figurines in place, so there is a little bit of time there, a little window of time, hopefully, that they can interact with that material. It's actually an interesting idea to think about if those materials are out and have been used and are available, and the children have gone back into the church. Think of the possibilities there. If you've got a space where this is happening and it remains in place until after the Mass, and as a catechist you are present there after the Mass, if children have been totally engaged, what are they possibly likely to do? Even if only one or two do this, bring their parents to show them what they were working with. Show them the figurines that they can touch at that moment and handle a little bit in that moment. So that's a possibility for the children's liturgy that could work quite well and open possibilities for talking with parents. And while we're on to that theme, it's quite a clever thing to do as well, considering that maybe some parents and children are coming to Mass at the moment because they're being prepared for the sacraments. There's no guarantee it'll continue afterwards, but it may. But this opportunity of the child being able to draw the parents in, to show them something that they've been working with, that can be very attractive.